As we continue looking at some of the methods for working with string, I have a couple of strings, and if you notice, cheese has a number of spaces before and after the actual text. And we're going to use that to see how a couple of these methods work. And rather than store them in a variable, I'm just going to go ahead and use them in the print statement. And so if I say cheese dot strip, open close parentheses, it will remove the white space at the beginning and end of the string. That would include tabs, enter. So the strip allows us to remove white space at both the beginning and end of a string. I can also remove it from one side or the other. If I do lstrip, that is left strip, and that removes the white space at the beginning. Well, that's a little hard to tell, so let's go ahead and before that, let's just put an X. So concatenate the strings, and I'm going to use the plus sign because the plus sign doesn't put a space in. And you can see the X at the beginning. If I also put an X at the end, you see that the white space at the end is still there. And if I did that on the first one with just the strip, you'd see the X's against both the left and right. Well, if there is an L strip, you probably will guess that there is an R or right strip. And if I use it, it only removes the white space at the end. We still have our white space at the beginning. So if you want to get rid of the white space at both the beginning and end, use the strip. If you want to get rid of the white space both or at either the beginning or the end, use L or R strip. Now we also have the ability to center text, and I'm going to use cheese 2 because it doesn't have the spaces. And so if I print cheese 2 dot center, and then I give it a size. So if I say 60, that will center that in 60 characters. So the whole string is 60 characters long, and there's white space before and after. So the center allows me to center text. Well, there's left and right justify. If I do the L justify and I say 60, we're really not going to notice anything unless I put or concatenate it with something else. So let's concatenate it with an X. And now we see it's on the left, and then it pads it with characters to make it 60 characters long. Well, the rjust does basically the same thing. It pads it at the beginning, but it makes that string 60 characters long. Now, I can pad it with something other than blank space or white space. So if I did ljust, and let's print it. And let's again use 60. But then I put in it a comma, and let's put a character, and let's do, I don't want to use the X because I've got the X at the end. And let's fill it with the letter A. And actually, we won't concatenate the X at the end. And it takes and fills, rather than with the default of the white space, fills it with, in this case, the letter A. And the rjust will fill at the beginning. So now we have all the A's at the beginning. So using the strip, which is what I use most often, along with L and rstrip, to get rid of white space, I can also add white space at both the beginning and end of a string using the center, the ljust, or the rjust. So these are some ways that I can manipulate our strings. There are other string methods that you'll find, and I've not used a lot in dealing with manipulating white space, but for manipulating white space, these are the ones that I use. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe.